One of the biggest gaming topics that are going to be covered in 2022 seems to be NFT, blockchain, what this means for gaming. We've heard it talked about by Square Enix. We've heard it talked about by Ubisoft. And today I wanted to talk about specifically why I just cannot get behind this practice. I've been playing game. I haven't really supported microtransactions in games for years now. I just refuse to support a system that I don't agree with. And to me, NFTs really just seem like another way that these corporations can get a few more dollars out of you, the consumer. And that's something I've always supported on this channel, what is best for the consumer. And I just don't see how or why we're suddenly trusting these companies who have proven that they don't have a lot of interest in what's best for the consumer and more for what's the best for their bottom line. And I want to talk about that a bit today. Let's get into it. So the most recent piece is from Square Enix. I'm going to read that after I talk about this, but my main issue, and I just took a few notes before recording today, was the following. You're giving these companies too much trust. You're talking about companies like Ubisoft and Square Enix, and I know there have been others who have talked about it. I do believe that there are companies out there who genuinely want to figure out how to do it right. But what does that even mean in the gaming space? I've heard a lot of gamers talk about how, imagine if you could just carry a gun over for all the games for forever. Is that even possible? Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, like they couldn't even manage to keep all the guns in the game. And you're talking about some unique gun that you're going to be able to carry forward in all games forever. Games are finite. They eventually end. So the idea of having ownership in a game forever just doesn't seem feasible for me right now. That's why I have such a hard time grasping why this is just such a widely praised and accepted thing that's coming in the future. And you're trusting a company like Ubisoft. Let's bring up my asset here really quick. You're talking about a company like Ubisoft who recently with Valhalla was criticized for having extremely overpriced microtransactions. And you're just giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like suddenly they're just going to be like, oh yeah, well, we figured everything out. We're going to give you the best deal we possibly can. And gamers are saying that the microtransactions are overpriced and they're just looking to get more money out of users. And Ubisoft has proven time and time again that they add microtransactions to their game to further their bottom line. That's their goal as a business, right? So why are we suddenly trusting them to handle NFTs? Why would you all of a sudden just say, well, yeah, Ubisoft seems like a great company, you know, the company that had microtransactions in basically every Assassin's Creed game that people didn't like, or Square Enix, who recently had to remove pay-to-win microtransactions after a massive backlash in a game like Avengers. Maybe you can argue that was Crystal Dynamics, but if you don't think that the NFT type product is going to end up in a game like Avengers, then like, I don't know what to tell you. Of course, that's the type of game that it's going to end up in. So my main concern is it just seems like all of a sudden, yes, we trust these mega corporations to handle this new technology in a what was the word Phil Spencer used? In a non-predatory way. I simply don't have any trust in these mega corporations who are worried about their bottom line and making as much money as possible, figuring out a way to do this the right way for you. I just don't. I think it's too early on, and it's going to take a long time before they're even plausible. I haven't spent money in years on microtransactions, and I will continue not to spend money on NFTs until I can actually support it or understand a way that it's actually makes sense to be the best thing for consumers. Now, I know a lot of people out there who watch my videos are pissed off at me because I don't just blindly support NFTs. I have not seen a single use case where this makes any sense. Call me an old man yelling at the wind, but it doesn't work in my mind. It doesn't. You really think that a company is going to come out and give you your very unique piece of armor and not have like 500 other pieces with 1 pixel difference in it? That's exactly what they're going to do. Oh, well, you have armor piece number 256 out of 50,000. And it was how much NFT dollars, or how much did you pay for that NFT, etc. I don't have that level of faith with a new monetization structure for these companies. What is more likely is they'll give you a nearly identical piece of armor that you'll reuse. So Square Enix is the one that recently popped this off. And, you know, I have this story up here where they had to remove the pay to win transaction. That was in November. This Assassin's Creed story about, this was from the beginning when Valhalla came out at the beginning of the year, and fans were pissed about the cost of microtransactions. You could also talk about the Eververse. And I know for me personally, I understood the cycling out about Forsaken, but it is an interesting issue where you see a company that has to remove content from like an MMO game because they can't figure out how to let the game run with all that bloated content in it. So let's say like how would that even work if they can't figure it out now? Why do you think NFTs are suddenly going to solve that problem? They, as developers, are still going to have to figure out, oh, okay, well, we have to cycle out this stuff. We have to put in new things. And like this, NFTs aren't going to fix the problem. Now, this video was spurned by this letter from Square Enix. So I'm going to read it. This is my first time reading it out loud, but I wanted to put down my thoughts about NFTs, and this is all off the cuff, not really scripted. I took a few notes, but yeah, so I'm going to react to this as we read it together. So this is from the president of Square Enix. By the way, Square Enix is the company that has repeatedly said games just don't make the profit margins, to the point where some games just haven't had trilogies or had a new game made, or Hitman, for example, who left Square Enix and developed their own game, and surprise, surprise, their profit margins were just fine, but not good enough for Square Enix. So let's hear what they have to say about their vision for NFTs. And I am already going into this extremely skeptical. I would like to begin by wishing everyone a happy new year. That's very kind. Thank you. The metaverse was a hot topic in 2021, inspiring a lively global conversation, first about what the metaverse is, and then about what sort of business opportunities it presents. Against this backdrop, Facebook changed its name in October to Meta. By the way, don't trust Facebook to handle the metaverse. It's ridiculous. You're going to trust Facebook, the company everybody knows is selling your data to make money, to handle the metaverse. Okay, well, I think we all agree it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Serving as evidence that the concept is not a mere buzzword, but here to stay. The metaverse garnered so much attention that 2021 was dubbed the metaverse year. I hope the Facebook metaverse burns. I don't want to see the light of day. I don't trust Facebook to handle our personal data. And the idea of all of us living in a Facebook metaverse is somewhat terrifying, if I'm being totally honest. So I'm glad they're so positive about it. I am very much not as positive about it. He continues. I attribute this in large part to advances in extended reality XR technology, the increasing prevalence of the cloud and 5G, more sophisticated blockchain technology, and other technological evolutions that have taken place in a variety of fields over the past several years. That is because these advances are giving rise to services that fall under the metaverse umbrella. The metaverse will likely see a meaningful transition to a business phase in 2022, with a wide range of services appearing on the scene. As this abstract concept begins to take concrete shape in the form of product and service offerings, I am hoping that it will bring about changes that have a more substantial impact on our business as well. Real quick, seeing I'm doing this off the cuff, it's going to be a longer video. Let me see here. So I just brought this up really quick. Square Enix, sorry if you can't see it, I'll just do this really quick and dirty. Oh, well, whatever. You saw some of my tags for the video. Operating income generated by Square Enix, fiscal year 2011 to 2021. In 2021, their operating income was $47.23 billion. How much money did they make in a year? Overall net sales were up to $809 million. Operating income increased more, so their operating income, but overall sales up to $809 million. And yeah, so there is a difference between operating income and profit. But long story short, guess what? Square Enix makes a ton of money. But they need more, everybody. $809 million ain't going to cut it. It's chump change. $809 million. You're going to have to start paying $70 for your games. That's why the whole $70 thing makes me so mad. Sure, support it all you want. How much more money do you need to give to the president of whatever company, you know? Another term that gained quick currency in 2021 was NFT, or non-fungible token. The advent of NFTs using blockchain technology significantly increased the liquidity of digital goods, enabling the trading of a variety of such goods at high prices and sparking conversations the world over. I see 2021 not only as Metaverse year one, but also as NFTs year one, given that it was a year in which NFTs were met with a great deal of enthusiasm by some, by a rapidly expanding user base. However, we do observe examples here and there of overheated trading in NFT-based digital goods with somewhat speculative overtones, regardless of the observed value of the content provided. This obviously is not an ideal solution. They're talking about scams, basically, I think. But I expect to see an eventual right sizing in digital goods deals as they become more commonplace among the general public, with the value of each available content corrected to their true estimated worth. And I look for them to become as familiar as dealings in physical goods. To address these changes in our business environment, the medium-term business strategy that we unveiled in May 2020 identified AI, the cloud, and blockchain games as new domains on which we should focus our investments. And we have subsequently been aggressive in our research and development efforts and investments in those areas. The AI space, we established Square Enix AI and Arts Alchemy Company Limited, AI and AA, in March 2020 to pursue development efforts in the wider field of entertainment AI rather than being constrained by traditional concepts of gaming AI. This is all gibberish to me. The firm's R&D efforts focus primarily on natural language processing. Okay, that makes sense. World models and simulation technology. These efforts will help us develop the games that we release into the world and enhance their overall quality, but this is not all. By incorporating the output of these R&D efforts into virtual avatars and elsewhere, we plan to apply that output to a wide variety of content and provide the relevant technology to other companies with a view to leveraging these R&D efforts across our entire digital entertainment business. We are exploring, oh my goodness, this is so long. I'm sorry. This is such a long article. We are exploring potential efforts in the cloud space from two primary perspectives. The first being leveraging cloud technologies to distribute content, and the second being developing content that offers customers new forms of excitement enabled by the cloud's attributes. More telecommunications infrastructure is being built, as exemplified by expanding 5G coverage. Devices are also making performance gains. As these trends continue, I believe that the content we provide will become more accessible, making it more likely that our customers will discover enjoyment as we gain new touch points with them. Leveraging cloud technologies is extremely effective. This has nothing to do with blockchain and stuff, so I hope he's getting to the point soon. Cloud technologies is extremely effective as a means of making our content and services uniformly available. Okay, there it is. And as a catalyst for creating new forms of excitement that expand upon the content development capabilities for which we are known. As such, we will be making ample investments in the cloud space. Well, just a quick aside, I mean, that's good, seeing you literally had to discontinue sales of Final Fantasy XIV due to its popularity. So again, when you talk about the profit margins of these companies, I don't understand why their support to further bloat these multi-million or multi-billion dollar companies to make more and more money. I get it. Like, if you're a successful company, you're entitled to earning what you've earned. But What I don't understand is the consumer saying, I want to give you more money so that your $1 billion number can be bigger. That's been the weirdest thing for me in 2021. People patting themselves on the back for helping a billionaire be more of a billionaire. Like, that's just nutty to me. I have always been the type of person who is like, pay as little as you can for a game to get as much enjoyment as you can out of it, right? And for a lot of people, part of the enjoyment is seeing a $1 billion company make more billions. That has been the weirdest thing for me in 2021, especially. And, you know, when you talk about a service like Game Pass, the reason I'm so enthusiastic about that is because it doesn't make any sense for Microsoft. It seems to me like they'd be losing money on that, right? You get your subscription fee, you get access to 300 plus games. I'm like, how more pro consumer can you get than that? Even pro developers are praising it also. So it's just like, wow, this seems like a win-win. This whole microtransaction, NFT, blockchain thing seems like a bad deal to me. And that's why I'm so adamantly against it. Okay, so here is the good stuff. Apologies for this video being way longer than it needs to be. Lastly is blockchain games. Be they single player or online games, games have traditionally involved a unidirectional flow whereby creators such as ourselves provide a game to the consumers that play them. By contrast, blockchain games, which have emerged from their infancy and are at this very moment entering a growth phase, are built upon the premise of a token economy and therefore hold the potential to enable self-sustaining game growth. The driver that most enables such self-sustaining game growth is diversity, both in how people engage with interactive content like games and in their motivations for doing so. Advances in token economies will likely add further momentum to this trend of diversification. I see the play to earn concept that has people so excited as a prime example of this. Play to earn is already in a lot of games. It's in almost every MMO where the more that you play or the more time that you invest, the things you unlock things. That is a game design concept that is available now. They're looking to monetize your time. I don't see that as a positive per se. They want your game time to be monetized. So what they will do is they will falsely inflate, I'm guessing they're going to falsely inflate the amount of time that you play to earn and say, hey, you could just spend a few dollars on some of these NFTs and get past that. It's pay to win, but masked. At least that's what I'm reading here. And that is incredibly concerning for me, especially when we read this next line, which they were heavily criticized for. I realize that some people who play to have fun, what are you saying? Everybody should be playing the games to have fun. Are you playing a game to spend money, more money on it? Are you insane? Anyway, I realize that some people who play to have fun, hey, that's me. I'm Destin. I play games to have fun, to be challenged and have a good time beating them. Look at Metroid Dread of this last year. Man, that sure was fun beating the bosses. It was fun learning the gameplay mechanics. Halo Infinite is a fun game. That's why I play video games forever and forever will. Anyway, those of us out there, us crazy people playing to have fun, I realize that some people who play to have fun and who currently form the majority of players have voiced their reservations towards these news trends. Yeah, because they sound terrible. You have done nothing to sell me on these new trends whatsoever. Anyway, and understandably so. However, I believe that there will be a certain number of people whose motivation is to play to contribute, by which I mean to help make the game more exciting. Okay. Traditional gaming has offered no explicit incentive to this latter group of people who were motivated strictly by such inconsistent personal feelings as goodwill and volunteer spirit. The fact is not unrelated to the limitations of existing user-generated content. User-generated content has been brought into being solely because of individuals' desires for self-expression and not because any explicit incentive existed to reward them for their creative efforts. I see this as one reason that there hasn't been as many major game-changing content that were user-generated as one would expect. Okay. So if you want to spin this as a positive, how come when Flight Simulator actually allowed users to create content for Microsoft Flight Simulator, set their own prices, and be compensated for their work on those things, something that I thought was a great idea from Microsoft and Asobo to allow this to transpire, how come that was met with such overwhelming negativity? Because Microsoft got a cut of it? Of course, Square Enix is going to get a cut of the user-generated content via this methodology. Why does this get praise? I just don't understand it. Do I think user-generated content should have some sort of revenue stream? Yes. Do I trust Square Enix to be the one holding the purse strings and figuring out how that works? No, I do not. And if you don't think that they're going to get a cut of this in some way, that's just not reality. Of course, they're going to have some way to get a hold of those funds. So if you didn't support it for Flight Simulator, I have no idea why you would suddenly support it for a company that has proven that they offer pay-to-win mechanics that people rally against. Anyway. However, with advances in token economies, users will be provided with explicit incentives, thereby resulting not only in greater consistency in their motivation, but also creating a tangible upside to their creative efforts. I believe this will lead to more people devoting themselves to such efforts and to greater possibilities of games growing in exciting ways. From having fun to earning to contributing, a wide variety of motivations will inspire people to engage with games and connect with one another. It is blockchain-based tokens that will enable this. You can enable it now without blockchain. This is Square Enix looking to write an article towards their investors so that they can look like they're up on the trends. How come Phil Spencer is the only one saying, hey, this sucks right now. It's not good right now. How come he's the only one saying anything? Has there been anybody else like coming out against this? Why is everybody just eating this up? It seems so... I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe one day that light bulb will turn on. I refuse to support this system until that happens. I'll eat crow on it, but when I have to. But until then, this sounds awful. This doesn't sound good to me. By designing viable token economies into our games, we will enable self-sustaining game growth. It is precisely this sort of ecosystem that lies at the heart of what I refer to as decentralized gaming, and I hope that this becomes a major trend in gaming going forward. If we refer to the one-way relationship where game players and game providers are linked by games that are finished products as centralized gaming, to contrast it with decentralized gaming, then incorporating decentralized games into our portfolio in addition to centralized games will be a major strategic theme for us starting in 2022. I have to see what these games are. What are you even talking about? Are you trying to make your own version of Roblox or Core or something like that where people actually build their own games within their metaverses and then allow other people to pay them and compensate them? Those systems have worked and they have nothing to do with blockchain. They've been tremendously successful. There have been many companies who have allowed users to create content and then they market them and then they're able to sell them at prices that they've set for themselves. Why do blockchains and NFTs have to be involved? I understand what an NFT is. An NFT is a non-fungible token, which means that if you have the common example used is like a monkey painting, right? You have yours and it is 100% yours. The problem with it is it's digital. So the idea of you owning that digital thing to me is absolutely preposterous, especially when I can hit print screen and have my own copy of it. What do I care if you have the original, if I can still plaster that on my wall? You're not talking about Mona Lisas here. You're not talking about something that took people years of their lives to create, or a limited amount of a physical object that only a few people can own. You're talking about digital goods that can be easily replicated. Easily. And I just don't get it. I don't get the buzz at all. And I don't know what you can say to convince me to get it. The basic elemental technologies to enable blockchain games already exist, and there has been an increase in the societal literacy and acceptance of crypto assets in the past few years. Yeah, to the detriment of, planet Earth, but whatever, that's a different topic. We will keep a close eye on societal shifts in this space while listening to the many groups of users that populate it and ramp up our efforts to develop a business accordingly, with an eye to potentially issuing our own tokens in the future. Oh, so they'll have tokens and that's how they get their cut. Okay. Our lifestyles have changed and we are learning to coexist with COVID-19 against that backdrop. I believe that the new technologies and concepts that I have discussed and the changes that they bring to our business environment will provide us with numerous opportunities to enrich people's lives through digital entertainment, which is at the core of our business. This is at the same time means that we are seeing the beginnings of further leaps forward for our business. We remain committed to creating, developing, and providing world-class content, and we will contribute to the happiness of society and its people by offering new forms of excitement. I wish you all the best for 2022. Matsuda-san, President and Representative Director, Square Enix Holdings. So look, I've talked a lot about why I can't. I guess I'm stupid. I guess I don't get it. I've seen so many arguments that are pro NFTs, and I don't trust that these big game companies are going to handle it in the most effective way. And until I see that, I just don't see myself ever getting behind this sort of system. I already have watched these major game companies not handle microtransactions particularly well, to the point that I just said, I refuse to support microtransactions in games. I will play and unlock it through natural means, or I will just never own that skin. And by the way, here's the other thing. When you play a game, you're going to play that game for a finite amount of time, right? So you're going to get tired of that NFT or that skin or whatever that you bought in, what, a month, 2 months, a year? I don't see it, everybody. So I wanted to record this long rant. I didn't mean for it to be a 30-minute video. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't like it. And I still continue to not support it. Maybe I'll be eating crow in a few years. I know all the NFT blockchain fans out there are just like, he doesn't see the future. I see that you're like so enveloped in that world that you see something that I cannot see, and I don't know that I ever will see, because I have a very inherent built-in distrust of these mega corporations getting any piece of the pie, because as soon as that gets involved, this idea of a utopia where we've figured that out, it doesn't seem realistic to me. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Subscribe if you like my rambly videos. Happy 2022, everybody. I guess I'll catch you for the next one. If you want to become a member, memberships are turned on. You want to see me keep making content? Hey, there you go. And guess what? I didn't make $46 billion last year. So if you want to click that join button, you can. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I'll get out of here. Bye for now, everybody.